Hi all. Today I'm going to discuss about how we can run a Selenium test on a Docker container. So let us start. I think probably I can move to the next slide. So what is Docker? I think hope you all know about Docker and Docker container, where we can use Docker, why Docker, what's the difference between virtual machine and Docker. I request you all to have a Google on what's the difference between virtual machine and Docker, what's usage of Docker, where we can use Docker. In this video, how I am going to explain is where we can use Docker in our Selenium automation test. Basically, I am just showing how we can run a Selenium test in a Docker container. So before we move to that, what is Docker? Docker is a container-based technology. This provides just an OS space, and we can insert our images into that, and we can run on top of that. And this is the ability to package and run an application is loosely isolated environment called a container. So we can have multiple containers and multiple images we can run parallelly. That's what it says. Many containers simultaneously we can run on a single host. So I am trying to. I'm today I'm showing this how we can run multiple images and multiple containers in a single machine. I am just showing in my laptop. It can be run anywhere. And let me move to the next slide, which I just kept it. First, we need to download. I'm using Docker desktop software. So I'm just downloading that first. I'll show how we can download the Docker desktop. Go to Google, Docker desktop download. Yeah, you can see this link. You can use this link. I'm just already given in my presentation also. So you can, if you are using Windows, you can download from here, and also Mac also it's available. You can download if you are using a Mac. So once you downloaded this, I think there are some prerequisite. Let me go back to my slide. This is the link we can download. And the second one, there are some prerequisite which we need to see before we install this Docker desktop. And one thing I think Java is required. That's what even my machine Java is already there. And also the secondly, basically the machine should be Windows 10 and 64-bit processor and second level address translation. That is most of our Windows 10 machines coming with the same configuration nowadays. So and one more thing, it should be a Windows 10 professional or enterprise edition. That's what they can Google it more about that. Even we can run into home edition also. I'm just showing this in Pro Windows Pro machine. So even home machine, there are a little bit more configuration is required. So my laptop is configured for Windows 10 Pro, and you may need at least 4 GB system RAM. And the one important thing which we need to have it, BIOS level hardware virtualization support must be enabled into BIOS settings. This can be done in many ways. Uh, you can Google it how we can enable this in BIOS if it's not enabled. So my machine is already enabled. You can by default some machines I can see that is already enabled. So if I think probably can check that whether it is enabled or not. Go to the task manager. Go to the performance tab. Here you can see, go to CPU. You can see here virtualization is enabled. In your machine is not enabled, you can see this is disabled, and you have to go and enable it in BIOS settings. Probably you can Google it how we can do that. Even different machines have different setup to enter into the BIOS and change this based on the configuration of your machine. So I am not explaining that. Hope if you have any questions, you can probably can ask me directly. And once I already installed Docker Desktop. Once you download this, you can directly install the Docker Desktop application. I already did. So you can check whether the installation is fine. Just open the command prompt. See, you can once the installation is completed, Docker hyphen version. See, my Docker version is 19.03.8, and build is there is a build version also they given actually build number. So in my machine, Docker is or Docker desktop is already installed and configured. So this we are all set to run about the Docker images. So the step number 2 we already done, and step number 3 the virtualization already enabled, and check the installation. I already installed and check the installation. I am just adding one more step here, install and check the installation. Okay. So the Docker desktop is already installed. So I'm just moving to the next slide. This slide explaining about Docker images. We can directly what is a prerequisite if you want to run a Selenium test? Basically, I think we need a Java, and we need a browser, and we need a OS. All things to be set up, and we can run. Basically, that's what we need to do it. And if we are using a Docker container, either we can get a fresh image of Windows 10 OS. We can install Java, we can install Chrome, and make ready for running your test. But there is the Selenium people, they themselves provided some Docker images that is already available in the Docker hub, which they provided. The GitHub, they already provided the Docker. I can show where it is. Also, you can directly search into this Google Selenium Docker images. Yeah, this is the way you have to go. Click on this. See, there is a GitHub. The Selenium people, Selenium team, they created the images for you. We don't worry about whether you need a Chrome, Firefox, or Opera or whatever browser. See this. I am just taking the Chrome. You go for you have the details. Everything is there. You can read me is there if you want to read it, and which version you have. Everything is there. And the image name is Selenium standalone Chrome. So the image is ready in the GitHub. Selenium people they already created. So we can download and use the same image. I'll show how we can download. Go to your command prompt. Pull. You can see that the image name is Selenium, SELENI, Selenium hyphen standalone hyphen Chrome. That's image name which we need to give. Okay, I think I need to use pull. Let me see that something is happening here. Let me check my mail. Okay. Yeah, sorry, we need to use Docker pull. Selenium, Selenium, Selenium. You have to write the correct spelling, otherwise it won't stand alone. See, this download is already started. I already downloaded. That's what is saying that latest pulling from Selenium standalone Chrome, and I just and this is the status. Image is up to date from whatever they given into the GitHub. So this is the details about the image which we pulled into my local machine. So that is set. You can see that whatever images you have, Docker images. Use this command to see how many images you have in your machine. So I have, you can see the first one is Chrome. I have pulled many Selenium related containers, Selenium images, so that you can see many are there. But do you just notice Selenium standalone Chrome is already there, the latest one, created 5 days ago. So it's 1996 916 MB. So that's what about this, and this is a image name. Moving back to the slide, what is the next step? Using standalone Chrome. Okay. Okay, Docker pull command I used and already pulled the image. And the run command, this is a run command which Selenium people provided to make the images up. I'm just pasting that. I'm just running that images, how to make it up. So this is the command docker run -d. -d is a dash mode, and you can see that there is a port number, and and there is one more port number is given. This is your local computer port number, and this is your Docker port number. So once you give this, these two ports will be communicated, and your uh, image and your host machine will be started communicating. So try to understand it. I think the run command you can read more about into the site, and there are many things why they given the dev shm selenium standalone -v -p and all. You can try to understand from this. Okay, now all set. Basically our Docker container for Selenium standalone Chrome is started running. So how can we run that? How can we see that whether your image is running or not? So you just go to the command line, and we can put docker ps. I'm just elaborate this. Okay, docker ps will show only the running container names. So this is the container ID, and this is the image. Selenium standalone Chrome is started running on that. Only one image is running now. So now all set for the Docker image is up and running. Now we can move to our Selenium script, how we can run this Selenium simple script on a Docker container. So let me see whether I missed out any steps here. Okay, Docker PS. You can explore more about the Docker. There is Docker PS is the command for finding the running Docker images, and Docker images is to list all the images which we downloaded to the local computer. And Docker run is a command for running one particular image. And Docker stop is a command for stop running container. Okay, so all set. So next one, whether what is the next step? Okay, so run a simple Selenium test in a Chrome browser using Docker. Let me show how we can run a simple Selenium test case in a Chrome browser using Docker. So you can once you see the net, I just copied some of the basic code. Basic things we need to give to start running a test case Selenium test into uh, Docker image. So I'll explain. I'm just copying these to our. I think probably I can use that. I used for directly from home. So I already set for Firefox. I was testing whether it's running or not. So I'll create a new class for Chrome. New class Selenium. So I am just using the main class. Okay, your main class is there. Yeah, instead of copying the script, I can directly copy my Firefox script here and I'll explain the step by step. Let me copy till here and explain what is this code about. No, I think this is the one. Okay. Okay. And desired capability is the one which we need to give it. Desired capabilities, I think hope you know somebody's worked on Appium, somebody's worked on Selenium Grid. They might be knowing what is desired capabilities provided by Selenium. So I am just using desired capabilities here. So I just want to set my capability. It's nothing but I want to run this my test. I am just setting as a capability for browser name is Chrome. Chrome and URL is basically URL is a Java class which we can provide the URL. URL is nothing but this is the one which uh, Selenium the Docker image listens on this port. That's what we need to use this URL while we running our test cases into Docker image. If you are using a single image, still hub. If we are using Selenium Grid, I'll explain later. This is a URL by default you need to give into your local machine if you are running using a Docker container. So I think we need to, there is some error. What is this? Exception we need to handle. Okay. Then just adding the rows declaration. Okay. So the second thing we need to use remote web driver. So you get to know remote driver. So you need to use a remote driver web driver here instead of web driver. We need to use a remote web driver here. So and U is your URL whether I given here and the capability is one which we said here is browser name is Chrome. This is the parameters I'm just giving here. And now all set to start running on your Chrome browser. I think a couple of simple tests we can add and see whether your image is running or not. So I'm just copying for we don't want to waste my time here to run write it and give. I'll explain what I'm copying and pasting here. So okay, as usual we give it the normal web driver. Hereafter everything is same. There is no change in your Selenium code which we are using in WebDriver. So as we use driver.get, we are opening the Google website. As a simple test, I'm just getting the title and verifying whether I executed my test case or not. So this is one. I'm just saving my title here, the title which the browser title. So I'm just printing the title here. I think I'm expecting Google here. Google is a title for that Google page. So just one more step. I just added Docker test is and that I'm just verifying that. In real time, we can do put your assertion and all that we can do. But for a simple test, I just created so far. This is fine for us, I think. So I think probably I can run and show this. I think hope everything should be fine. Run just a Java application. Right now I'm using as a Java application. If you're using just ng maven or any other way, we can run it. So this is just a Java class we can. All set. I think we are good. We got the title of the Google page, that is Google. We can see here Google, and also the output message which I printed here, Docker test ended. I think we all set. I think everything is good to go with. This is the way we need to execute a Selenium test case in a Docker container. Here I used Chrome. You can just change. You can pull the Firefox image and you can set everything was as I did in a Chrome image. You can only the change you have to do is here you need to write it Firefox. You can try it from your end doing that. And if you have any questions, if you have any queries, you can list ping me or you can contact me. I'll guide you how to do that. I think that is for today. I'll come up with some of more concepts with the Docker, how we can start running a test automatically and configure with Jenkins, and also I'll create one section for Selenium Grid, how we run multiple browsers in simultaneously using our parallel mode. In some situation, we may need to run test cases in Chrome browser and Firefox browser, and also Opera or Safari, whatever it is. So in parallel mode, I'll create one more video. Hope you are all good to go with any questions. Probably you can contact me.